Hello everybody, it's Brad here today and welcome back to Project Hospital. I hope you are all doing well. So in our last episode we were over here building out our medical laboratory department. So we got in our hematology lab and our next objective here is to open any clinic at any specialised department. So Nixia7 here, comment on YouTube, suggests that we should build out the orthopedic department. Now I actually think that makes sense, and like Nixia7 says, it could actually make good use of our x-ray that we put in over here. Lots of orthopedic patients, of course, everything done with bones and ligaments and tendons are going to need probably quite a lot of x-ray examinations. So I think that is a really good point that Nixia7 makes, so thank you for the comment. So what I think we're going to do, I've actually been in game for a few minutes just dotting a few items around, a few posters, and I believe I've done all of the wallpaper paint on all rooms, so we haven't got any of the base game horrible stud wall. I think I've got everything. So I think it is time we get in some elevators. Do I want these to go this way round or the other way round? I want them to go this way round, I think. So let's put those in. Let's go in and we'll get rid of this wall. We don't need that anymore. We will put in our standard corridor wall. That's fine. And let's just touch up the floor here. And then we can say that that now is corridor. Lovely, right. 2 elevators. We're going up in the world. Let's think about how we want orthopedic to be arranged. So, orthopedic. So for the moment, we just need the clinic. So we need orthopedic offices, a bit like a doctor's office downstairs, an emergency. We need a waiting room. And then you can have these options of kind of reception, cleaning closet, common room, restroom, etc. So let's go downstairs. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change list reception here to be an orthopedic reception. We can then put in a PC. What colour chair? We've got the kind of pale blue chairs out. Where's chair? Office chair. In there, and then we'll think about how we can decorate this with paper holders and printers, but we'll do a bit more of that probably a bit later. Emergency at the minute is fine with 1 receptionist, I think, but we can expand this if we need to. So orthopedic reception done. So now all we technically need is waiting room and an orthopedic office. So this space over here we are reserving for our emergency department hospitalisation. It's not going to say so over here, but what we will have is things like trauma room, observation unit, and what I'd actually quite like to be above this, so that's on the ground floor down here. What I'd like to be above that is the intensive care unit, because frequently you're going to get people in the trauma centre that need to go to intensive care and the other way round. So I think that makes sense for that to go there. We've got our ambulance parking, our ambulance drop off. I think that makes sense. So kind of this area here, I want that to be reserved. Now, in terms of orthopedic, just trying to work out how much space we need. I could put it directly here on top of our emergency doctor's offices. That probably would not be a bad shout. It's quite hard to kind of visualise how the hospital is going to look at the minute. Now, where are our elevators going? Where are elevators? Here they are. Maybe I don't need to do that. I just need to put in the foundation. Oh, I need to build a new floor, don't I? What an idiot. It's been a while. How do I do that again? Add new floor. No, don't do any of that. Does that cost money? No. Right, but those are our elevators, so they're now in. So we know where they're going to be. We're going to have intensive care over here. So why don't we do what I said and maybe have this as our orthopedic clinic, so it'll kind of be on top of where we have our current doctor's offices downstairs. I think that makes sense. So, oh my god, what is this? Don't know. Right, let's go with brick for the minute, because actually let's plan. I need to plan. Plan, brothers, plan. Now I could just copy this, which is probably a fairly good thing to do. It means we're going to get 3 orthopedic offices and a waiting room, and then we'll go in and we'll change the colour of a few bits, change the posters to be a bit more specific to orthopedic. I think that does make sense. And then we would have our hospitalisation for orthopedic kind of behind here, going this way. I think that does make sense. Let's do it. You only live once. Right, so we're going to go in here. We're going to change all of these rooms. We're going to change these to orthopedic offices. Having 3 is probably actually the right number. So, well, it is the magic number, isn't it? It is the magic number. Waiting room. What are we missing from here? We're missing an EMG. Okay, so let's go in here. Do I need an eye test in this room? No. So the eye test can actually go. And would I need this? Yes, I do. Okay. So that's fine, that goes in there. So just so we know, so let's work out where we could put in our electromyograph. Let's get an equipment table. Do I need the audio meter? No. So what we could actually do is go around and we could just delete these. This should give us a little bit more money as well, not a lot, but it means that we're not wasting it. So let's delete those audio meters and we'll simply, yes, this is the one where you need a patient to be able to actually sit next to you. Right, let's reconfigure this. Why don't we put the sink here, change that around, no, like that. Then I want the bin, change that around. Then your equipment table there, so you actually need to be there. Then EMG can't be attached to this type of object. You need like the square table. Let's try that one. Right, and then you'd want stools either side, something like that probably, wouldn't you? Right, so let's do that. That's probably easier for me to delete everything in this room. And let's copy that. Turn that around so you're like that and like that. There we go. It's probably more expensive way, but it's probably an easier way. So now the whiteboard are actually not being able to be used. Can you be used? You can be used there. Right, let's move those so they can actually be used. Where was that? There, I think. Right, now posters. What we might do is let's just put out a few posters out here. So let's get a veins. We'll get a tennis elbow. And isn't there a skull one somewhere? I can't see it. Skull. We'll get the skull maybe down there. Right. So that is everything we need for the orthopedic clinic. So now we actually just need staff, and we will also think about how we can fit up here a restroom, cleaning closet and common room. That could actually go in here. This could actually be quite a good place for like a study room. Lots of glass, you know, nice, vibrant, sunny space. Could actually be quite nice, couldn't it? So why don't we think about cleaning closet, common room, restroom. So why don't we go downstairs? I don't want to copy too much of what we've got downstairs, but it does actually work, doesn't it? We know that space works. So that could go in there. Then this, let's do that, because I think that actually makes sense. Then this is the entrance to orthopedy, and we'll have our wards, operating theatre, everything like that back here. So I think 3 orthopaedic offices is probably actually enough. Now what I might do is I'm going to put a wall here with a, what colour should we have orthopaedic? Like maybe like a nice orange. And then I will get out an orthopaedic department. Oh, what is it, that one? Black. There, like that, so everyone knows that that's orthopaedic. And then what we'll do is delete these rooms. These are then going to be an orthopaedic common room, restroom, staff restrooms here, cleaning closet, and a corridor. Beautiful. Now we'll go in and make this all staff only. These are both staff only. Did I do that downstairs? Yes. Lovely. Right, so that all makes sense now. That's all of that. Now let's, before I forget, which we know that I probably will, let's do these walls, and then we haven't got to worry about it, because I will forget to do it. There we go. And for the moment, let's just put out that floor. Just pick a random floor and we'll put that out to somewhere like there. Let's get some walls in. We'll go across there. Just so this is all self-contained. We haven't got to worry about any drafts coming in. There we go. Brick around the outside. Bit like that. Everything's contained. Keeps the weather out. Lovely jubbly. Now I am actually thinking, let's continue with our wood above there. Let's put in tall glass like that. We'll continue with some glass windows there. Lovely jubbly. Right, so staff, let's have a look. Or let's also make this a corridor, just so we can get our janitors to mop up any of our dirty footprints that will inevitably come up. Right. So, doctors. Who do we have? We ideally want doctors with an advanced diagnosis. That makes it quite nice and easy for us. Let's reveal hidden perks for $1,000. Now we've got some good doctors here actually. These two are less good, but these two up here are pretty good. So they're both full rank, so they have full skill in being a doctor, and they have differing skills here in diagnosis and advanced diagnosis. So Thomas Barclay's pretty good. Those are good perks. Also we've got William Martinez here with very good perks. So it's quite tough because William Martinez is quite a lot more expensive, and he actually has less skill in diagnosis than Thomas, but he has more advanced diagnosis. I think I'm going to get in, yay, insurance company Liberty Y can be contracted to send patients, and we've also just got that objective as well. So I think William's going to be our chief. For the moment, I think one doctor will be fine, that'll be plenty, and then we'll start having a look at having another doctor in here. Thomas Barclay is a pretty good doctor, but we don't want too many doctors with this salary, because this department, at least in the meantime, is not going to be making a lot of money. So let's also just go in here and we'll have a look again at janitor for orthopedy. Mary's pretty good. She's actually fairly cheap. She's efficient, but she's just late to work. I think that's fine for the moment. I think that's fine. Now let's go in and get a receptionist as well. Who could we go with? Margaret's actually quite... She's fairly expensive. She's efficient. She moves fast, but her rest levels decrease faster. She's a fresh parent. Rest levels decrease slower. Oh, so those probably just negate each other. They probably just cancel each other out. Let's get Margaret. Margaret sounds quite eccentric. She's a fresh parent, but she's not bothered by it. So let's get Margaret in. Now that is orthopedy completely staffed. Now if we go to our objectives, we can see here that we can actually get Liberty Y. So let's enable that. That'd be really good. We can treat one patient in our orthopedy department. We'll actually unlock hospitalisation for orthopedy. which will be really, really good. Then we can start actually making quite a lot of money by doing more advanced procedures. Now here, because we have just unlocked that orthopedic department, we can actually start at least planning out our hospitalisation at emergency, which again would be really good. So let's do that first. We're not going to build emergency just yet, but let's just plan it out so we know what we're dealing with. So these are the rooms that we've got. We've got on-call room, nurses station, observation room and trauma centre. So my initial thought is this is where the ambulances actually come in. So let's get down our trauma centre. Now that would be somewhere like, I don't know, somewhere like here. And then what we'll actually do is we'll go in and we'll just start planning, because if you've watched any of my previous series, whatever the word is, there's a tree there, so I'm just going to try and do that again. Now let's go in something like that. Then you'll know that we have little trauma bays. So how we do it is we have an operating table. I can't put any of this in. So I think, can I put this anywhere? Yeah, let's put one in here and then we'll delete it all after we've actually planned it out. No, in here please. So you get the operating table. That needs an anaesthesia workstation, just in the same bay I believe. What is attached to this? If I actually make this a trauma centre, I believe it will tell me. So you would need medical light. Do I need two? You would need the OP digital imaging. You would need a defibrillator and anaesthesia workstation. That actually goes there. And then all the other stuff can be like outside of the room in a centralised hallway or something. So this basically means that these units can be, they are, what's that? They are 3 by 3, aren't they? So now we know that those are the size of the bays, we can delete all of that, get some money back. I don't know if we get the full amount back, but that doesn't really matter. Delete that room and delete that as well actually. So this is actually way too big, unless we want quite a big corridor, because it would mean that 1, 2, 3, that would be the corridor. 1, 2, 3. So that would be our corridor, which could be quite nice. So why don't we have it that you come in to this trauma centre, there's a little corridor, space for maybe a toilet. Then you go into the trauma centre, which you could have the bays on this side. How many could you get in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And say, oh, that's the corridor, so that would be 5. So we could do bays either side, so all the way down here. Oh, poo. All the way on the other side, that's fine. Let's just put that back in. It needs to be 4 by 4. Okay, we can make that 4 by 4. That's not a problem. Like that. Obviously this would also be trauma centre in the middle. That's one big one. So bays on each side. Stuff in the middle, and you could actually maybe try and fit in the doctor's offices in the middle as well. Maybe this is better to do when we're actually building it, but that's the kind of layout that I want. And then you'd have observation room over here, if we can fit it in, or the doctor's office and the nurse's station, and upstairs we would obviously have our intensive care that I've already mentioned, and we unlock intensive care by building out our emergency hospitalisation. So we know that all of that stuff's going to go down there. We now have an extra insurance company, Liberty Y, so we need to focus on that really. We need to make sure that we can hopefully treat one patient today, and then that unlocks hospitalisation for orthopaedic. And also we're going to get in 35 clinic patients. So this will be a very good objective to do. Treat 30 patients per day, increase clinic patients per day to 20. So we'll just get more patients coming through the hospital. So in the meantime, let's see what's going on. Hopefully we can get some patients come in that will need some help with orthopedy. We hope. We can also think about what are you doing? Idle. Okay. Are you going to not be idle? Or are you just going to stand there? Do we need another receptionist? Is this starting to get... Yes, it is, isn't it? Right. Let's get another emergency receptionist. Let's get rid of this paper holder. We will pop the printer over there. And we'll get out another PC here, I think. Office chair. Let's get another receptionist here for the emergency department. Michael's pretty good. He is a fresh parent, so his rest levels decrease a little bit faster, but he's actually fairly cheap. So let's get in Michael. Oh, right. Hello, Michael. That should hopefully help. Just stop from this backlog. Right, we are quite busy over here, aren't we? So let's get in some more doctor's offices. What I'll do, go in here and we'll put in 2 more rooms. Should be fine. So let's get in those there. We will of course take out this window that's just looking straight into a doctor's office. We don't want that, just in case anyone's got their bits out, because you never know. And then we will just take out that wall in the middle. Would these have brick? We just need to add that bit there. A little bit of brick. Lovely jubbly. Other than that, we are all good. So we just need to configure this to go up to there. And we'll just change these decals on the rooms. So you will now need to be... You will be 1, 2, 3. Let's go 4. Ah, where's my 4 gone? 4 over here. 5. No, 5 please. Thank you. 5 over there. We'll get in 2 doctors. So again, ideally we would have people with the advanced diagnosis skill. There's not many people here. Let's refresh. And we will reveal hidden perks. Frank's pretty good. That's a pretty good doctor. Let's get in Frank. And then we will also go for... Oh my god, why is everyone called Dana? Dana's pretty good. She's a good boss. Fast metabolism, so she just needs to eat a bit more. Jane is pretty good. She washes her hand a bit more. William's pretty good at night. Jessica's pretty good actually. Jessica's expensive, but she is good. Let's go for Jessica. I have faith that she'll be worth her money. So this should just help relieve some of this pressure here. Let's also go in and we will put in Q machines, and then we can send our people into their doctors' offices respectively. A bit easier. The doctors haven't got to come out and get their patients. Put in another Q machine there. That should make it a bit easier, and this should work a little bit more efficiently. Let's just see. That's a bit better, isn't it? Right. We have a patient, guys. We have a patient. So Joseph Garcia here. We think he's got a fracture of the finger. Let's just do a physical exam and a differential diagnosis. He's of course going to go and see William. We will also prescribe him these bits. We might need a Q machine up here, but I don't think it'll be very busy up here in the kind of short term. So let's have a look. Come on, Joseph, go in there. Right, fracture of finger. I think that's pretty much confirmed. Now for that, we need to give him an arm cast. So let's do that. Hopefully that will then all be good. We can also give him some other treatments just to make sure that these symptoms go down. It might do the arm cast first and then he'll just have to leave. Does he also get these as well? No. Sorry, Joseph, but you can't have them. So that was another objective done. We treated our first patient in orthopedy. That's really, really good news. So now if we manage to treat 5 patients per day in our specialised department of orthopedy, we get a $50,000 grant and we are just loving life. So for the moment, let's just keep trying to treat patients. I am going to get in another doctor because we've got 3 patients in our waiting room here. So let's go ahead and we'll get another orthopaedic doctor. So who have we got here? Thomas Barclay just looks pretty good right off the bat. He's fairly cheap. He's got a tiny amount of advanced diagnosis, but he's very good at diagnosis in general. Richard Jackson here is a bit higher skilled in advanced diagnosis, lower skilled in diagnosis. He's a gamer, so resting is much faster, and he's a germaphobe. I think Thomas makes more sense. Let's get Thomas. I think he'll be a slightly better doctor, and we're just gonna help these along. Frank Moore's got a fracture of the finger. We don't need to do an x-ray. That would be silly. Let's make sure we get Frank in an arm cast. Over here we've got Jessica Wilson. She's got a fracture of the nose. That must hurt. Let's do a physical exam. I'd really like her. I'm just going to put that on because I really don't want her to have an x-ray. There's no point of her getting an x-ray. I'm a tight hospital manager. I don't want our patients to go to x-ray for no reason. Close reduction. That should all work. She's leaving. How's Frank? Is Frank all good? Yeah, he's just going to have a bit of pain meds. So that's going to be number 2. He's actually number 3. We've got Frank Brown over here, another Frank. Now let's see here. So it could be any of these. Now we think it's going to be one of these orthopedic diagnoses because he's been sent up here. He's had physical diagnosis. I don't think we could do... I mean, a physical exam... Oh, it's actually not been done yet. Let's do that. Right, so now we're down to 2. So it's either hand bursitis, which does not sound very nice, or carpal tunnel syndrome. So we're going to diagnose this. We could do temperature measurement, okay. CT, physical. Right, so temperature's being done now. Let's have a look and see if this yields anything. It doesn't, but a differential diagnosis did. We're pretty sure it's hand bursitis. Let's make sure he gets everything he needs. So we've got Daniel Robinson over here. Could be any of these. So inclusion body myositis or polymyositis, cystitis, whatever it is, anitis. So let's do a physical exam on Daniel. He's going to have his chest looked at. We think it's polymyositis. So we will continue with these exams because they're fairly chilled. He just needs corticosteroids. So naturally Daniel all good. Frank Brown's being treated. So ideally we need one more patient. Ah, no, that was 5. We done it. 5 patients, amazing. $50,000 in the bank. What a time to be alive. Right, so basically what we need to do now is think about opening our specialised department hospitalisation, because then we can start admitting people to our wards and we can start thinking about possibly getting a surgery team to come in, and then they can start doing a lot more advanced procedures. The problem with that is the staff and the equipment and the building of the rooms is very expensive. So we basically need as much money as possible. Now what I think it makes sense to do is carry on treating patients, just try and make our departments, orthopaedic and emergency, profitable, which if we go in and have a look, let's have a look here. Orthopaedic today, so obviously we've done lots of building yesterday. Let's have a look at emergency. So emergency yesterday, we gained nearly $4,000 through treating patients. So we made a gain in emergency of $2,400, but then you also have the expense of x-ray and the labs, which comes to, you know, roughly, what's that, 7, 8, just over $800. So yesterday we did make a profit with emergency. Now we're not going to know today how we're doing in orthopedic quite so well because it doesn't say our wages here, But if we look here, $5,280, sorry, we're actually making more money today in emergency. So we should be good. We've made $2,210 in orthopedy. So I think we're pretty good. Obviously, we have the initial outlay of building the orthopedy department. But when it comes down to these specialised departments, it actually matters how much you're paying your staff. Because, you know, these people are paid quite a lot. You know, William here, $644 he's on. He's quite expensive, old William. I mean, he's a good doctor, but he is quite expensive. So that's what we're going to have to manage going forward. It's just making sure that we don't have, I mean, really good doctors, but they cost a lot. So what we're going to need to do is make sure that we have very efficient staff levels. We have just the right amount of staff that we need to run our departments. So I think I'm going to leave that here for today, guys. We built our orthopedy. We treated 5 patients in our orthopedy clinic, and we have more here. We have more patients here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to treat those 2 patients, make sure that they get treated. We will end day 4. I will see you in the next episode for day 5, and we will be building out this way with our new grant. The government's given us a grant to build out our orthopedy hospitalisation. So I hope you look forward to that. If you would like to be named after any of the doctors, nurses, receptionists, janitors, anyone you like, if you'd like to be named after a member of staff in the hospital, just let me know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in our next episode. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you later.